most unlikely friend you've ever made? I was 17 and thought I was the toughest guy in my neighborhood. Baggy jeans, backward cap, always trying to look intimidating. My friends and I would hang out behind the gas station, acting like we owned the place. There was this old guy who lived in the house next to the station. Maybe 70 years old, always wore the same faded military jacket, and walked with a slight limp. We called him Colonel Crazy because he'd come outside whenever we got too loud. "You kids need to find something better to do," he'd say in this stern voice. We'd just roll our eyes and turn up our music louder. One night in October, my friends dared me to egg his house. Halloween was coming up and we were feeling extra stupid. I grabbed a carton of eggs from the store and waited until after midnight. His house was dark except for a blue glow from his TV. I launched the first egg at his front window. It hit with this loud splat, then the second one. By the third egg, his porch light flicked on. The door opened, and there he was in pajamas and that same military jacket thrown over his shoulders. But instead of yelling, he just stood there looking at me. "You done, son?" I had 3 eggs left in my hands. Something about how calm he was made me feel like an idiot. "I guess. Good. Now you can help me clean this up." He walked into his garage and came back with a bucket of soapy water and 2 rags, handed one to me without saying anything else. We spent 20 minutes scrubbing egg off his windows in complete silence. When we finished, he said, "You want some coffee? It's pretty cold out here." I should have said no. Should have just left. But something made me follow him inside. His living room was like a museum. Military medals in frames, old black and white photos of soldiers, and books everywhere. On his coffee table was a chess set with a game halfway finished. "You play chess?" he asked, pouring coffee into 2 mismatched mugs. "Not really. I'll teach you. But first, what's your name?" "I'm Walter." "Connor." For the next 2 hours, Walter taught me how each piece moved. He was patient, never made me feel stupid for asking the same questions twice. When I finally left, he said, "Same time next week?" I meant to blow him off. But the next Friday night, instead of hanging with my friends, I found myself knocking on Walter's door. This became our routine. Every Friday night, chess and coffee. Walter would tell me stories about serving in Vietnam, about losing his wife to cancer 5 years earlier, about how quiet his house had become. I started telling him about school, about my parents fighting all the time, about feeling like nothing I did mattered. "You matter to me," he said one night after I'd been complaining about feeling invisible. "These Friday nights are the best part of my week." My friends started asking where I disappeared to every weekend. I made up lies about having a job or dating some girl from another school. I was embarrassed to admit I was hanging out with the old guy we used to make fun of. One Friday in March, I knocked on Walter's door, but he didn't answer. The lights were on, so I walked around back. I found him collapsed in his garden, barely conscious. I called 911 and rode in the ambulance to the hospital. The doctor said he'd had a mild heart attack, but would be okay. When Walter woke up, the first thing he asked was, "Did I miss our chess game?" That's when I realized this 70-year-old man had become my best friend. I started visiting him every day in the hospital. Brought him magazines, helped him with crossword puzzles. When he got discharged, I helped him with grocery shopping and yard work. My friends finally figured out what I'd been doing when they saw me mowing Walter's lawn on a Saturday morning. They thought I'd lost my mind. "Dude, why are you helping that weird old guy?" His name is Walter, and he's not weird, he's just lonely. 2 years later, I graduated high school. Walter was sitting in the front row at my ceremony, cheering louder than my own parents. After the ceremony, he handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $5,000. "For college, Braceid," he said. "You've given an old man more friendship than he deserved." I'm 26 now, and Walter is still my closest friend. We still play chess every Friday night, sometimes over video calls when I'm traveling for work, sometimes at his kitchen table like always. Last month, I brought my girlfriend to meet him. After she left, Walter said, "That one's a keeper. She beats you at chess almost as badly as I do." The kid who used to egg his house is now the beneficiary in his will. Not for money, but because he says I'm the closest thing to family he has left. Who would have thought the grumpy old guy next to the gas station would end up being the person who believed in me most?